Hey guys, this is your math concepts video for the week. This covers lessons 144, 146 through 147, and then 149 through 150. Again, we're skipping around and skipping some lessons to make sure we get to all the new concepts. Alright, the first video is slide is finding missing numbers with two-digit addition. There's two different ways that you can do this. You can use a counting up strategy or you can use subtraction. So I'm going to use both methods and then you can pretty much choose which one you think is easier to solve it. Alright, so for this one we're going to use the counting up strategy. So we're going to take 22 plus some number is 58. We've got to find out what that missing number is. In order to do that and to use the counting up strategy, we start with our smaller number and count up to our bigger number. But we're going to keep in the same column, which we start with the ones column always when we're adding and subtracting. So we're going to start with that ones column again. We start with 2 and we're going to count up to 8. So if you put 2 in your head and you're going to count up to 8, you're going to say 2 and then start counting on your fingers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Started at 2 and counted up to 8, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 numbers. So that would be our first number, 6. And then we're going to go to the tens column next. We're going to start at 2 again and count up to 5. So put 2 in your head, say 2, and then start counting on your fingers. 3, 4, 5. That's 1, 2, 3 numbers. So then that'll be 3, 36. And then we can check our answer. 2 plus 6 is 8, and 2 plus 3 is 5. So our answer would be 36. Alright, so that's the counting up strategy. Now, you can also use a strategy as far as subtraction. You can subtract the answer from the number that you have in the problem to get what's missing. So this time, this one's missing. So it says some number plus 62 equals 94. So we're going to take the answer and subtract the number that we have in the problem. Again, you're going to start with the ones column. Now, when you're subtracting, you have to start with that biggest number. 4 is bigger than 2. So we have to take the answer. In the ones column, it's 4. So we say 4 minus 2. So 4 minus 2 equals 2. So that's going to be our answer in the ones column. And then we say 9 minus 6. And that equals 3. Alright, so that's going to give us 32. Alright, now we can check and make sure we have the right answer. So 2 plus 2 is 4, and 3 plus 6 is 9. So our answer would be 32. So either way, whatever way you want to use is fine. Alright, now we have finding the missing numbers with subtraction. You're going to do it the same way. You can use the counting up or the subtraction. So for the first one, I'm going to use counting up, and the second one I'll use subtraction like I did before. Alright, so we have 94 minus some number equals 22. Start with 2 and count up to 4. So put 2 in your head, 3, 4. That's 2 numbers. Okay, and then we go to the tens column. We have 2, and we're counting up to 9. So put 2 in your head. Okay, 2, and count on your fingers. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So 72. And then we can check. 4 minus 2 gives you 2, and 9 minus 7 gives you 2. So your answer would be 72. Alright, using the subtraction method, 67 minus some number equals 54. Start with your ones column. You have a 7 and a 4, so you have to subtract those. 7 minus 4 equals 3. And then 6 minus 5 equals 1. Alright, so we have 13, so let's check our answer. Starting with the ones column, 7 minus 3 is 4, and 6 minus 1 is 5. So our answer would be 13. Alright, this is a money word problem. Corbin had 1 quarter and 2 dimes in his pocket. He spent 35 cents at the store. How much money does he have left? It says how much money does he have left, so we have to subtract. Alright, so we have a quarter here and 2 dimes, so a quarter's worth 25, so I'll put it down here. Then a dime is worth 10, so the 2 dimes. We have to add up this money to figure out how much money he has altogether and then subtract. So a quarter is 25. If we count by tens, 25, 35, 45. So that's 45 cents that he has in all. And so now we have to take 45 and subtract what he spent, which was 35. Alright, so the easiest way, since I have our coins here, we take our 45, take 35 away. 25, 35. So he spent 35 cents. This is what he spent. How much does he have left? 10 cents. So he has 10 cents left. So 45 cents minus 35 cents leaves you with 10 cents. Alright, now we're going to look at some more fractions. We've touched on this a little bit before, but I just wanted to kind of go back over it. These circles are divided into fractions. This first circle, I divided it into 2 parts, so we call that halves. The second circle is divided into 3 parts, so we say that that is thirds. And the third circle is divided into fourths. 4 parts, so we call that divided into fourths. Alright, so there's 2 parts in halves, 3 parts in thirds, and 4 parts in fourths. And if you look at that bottom number, it kind of helps you remember how many parts is in that fraction. Alright, keeping that in mind, we're going to compare fractional parts. So we have 12 teddy bears, and we have to divide the 12 teddy bears into halves, thirds, and fourths. Alright, so if we wanted to divide these bears into halves, the easiest way to do that, so I'm going to move them down just a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see. Alright, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 on top, 6 on the bottom. If we wanted to half them, I'm going to draw me a line in between them, and that'll give me 2 parts, 1 part on the bottom, another part on the top. That gives us 2 equal parts, and there's 6 in the first group, 6 in the bottom group. So 1/2 of 12 gives us 6, a group of 6. Alright, if we wanted to add, divide them into thirds, we could keep this line here. We have to divide them into 3 parts. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and make my 3 sections so we can divide them into 3 parts. Alright, so there's one here. I'm going to add another one to each section. There's 2. There's 3. Alright, we're going to keep dividing them until we're out of bears. 3, 4 in the first group, 4 in the second group, and 4 in the third group. So we have 3 parts. They're equal groups, and 1/3 of that group is 4. So we have a group of 4, a group of 4, and a group of 4. So 1/3 of 12 is 4 in each group. When we halved them, we had 6 in a group. But when we break them down into thirds, the groups get smaller, so we only have 4. Alright, if we want to divide them out into fourths, we have to have 4 sections. So let's put them back. Middle. Alright, so now we're going to divide them back up. Alright, so we have 4 sections where we can divide them up. We have 1 in each section so far. Alright, so here's 2, 2, 2 in the third section, 2 in the fourth section. And 3. Alright, so we're out of bears. So let's look at our parts. We have 1 section here, 2 sections, the third section, and the fourth section. Each section has 3 bears in it. So when we break it down into fourths, our groups got smaller. So 1/4 of 12 is 3. So each time we divide the bears, the smaller the groups get. So if we wanted to order these fractions from greatest to smallest, or from greatest to least, we would say that our halves are biggest and our fourths are the smallest. And as you can see, 6 is the biggest, and then we have 4, and then your 3 is smallest. So that's how we would compare them. Alright, looking at greater than, less than. We've been doing greater than, less than, but we haven't done greater than, less than with missing numbers. So just remember, when you're doing greater than and less than with missing numbers, you just have to make sure you put a number in that makes that sentence true. So if we look at the first one, we have 46, and it's saying 46 is less than some number. So this number has to be bigger than 46 because the mouth eats the bigger number. So anything bigger than 46. That could be 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, all the way up. So I'm just going to pick a number that's bigger than 46. I'm going to put 48. So we're going to say 46 is less than 48. So the mouth is eating the bigger number. Alright, so this is saying 57 is greater than some number. So this number has to be smaller than 57 because the mouth is eating the bigger number. So it could be 56, 55, 54, 53, 52. It could even be 10, 1. It just has to be smaller. So I'm just going to pick a number. We'll just make it easy. So we'll say 56. So 57 is greater than 56. So it could be a wide range of numbers. All right, and the third one says 99. 99 is less than some number. So this number over here has to be bigger. So you can pick any number bigger than 99. So it can't be less. It has to be bigger. So you could say, what makes it easy, 100 is one more than 99. So that makes that sentence true. 99 is less than 100. That mouth is eating the bigger number. So you can just choose a number to make sure that you make that sentence true. All right, we have a fractional word problem. It says, Miss Steph brought 12 cookies to school. She gave half the cookies to Miss Humes, and then she gave 1/3 of the remaining cookies to Miss Pruitt. How many cookies did Miss Steph have left? All right, so let's do this together. All right, so we know, looking back, that half of 12 is 6. So if she gave half of the cookies to Miss Humes, that would be 6 cookies. So Miss Humes got 6 because that was half. So I'm going to put her 6 up here in the corner. All right, so those are Miss Humes' half, and then it says she gave 1/3 of the remaining cookies to me. All right, so if we have 6 and we want to divide them into thirds, again, we need 3 sections. All right, so I divided them into 3 sections, and they're all equal. And each section has 2 cookies in them each. So it says she gave 1/3 of the cookies to me. So one of these thirds means I get 2 cookies. So I'm going to put mine over here. She gave me 1/3. And then it says, how many cookies did Miss Steph have left? So once she gave half away and 1/3 to me, that left her with 4 cookies. Now that one was a little bit tricky. All right, looking at the calendar, it's May. All right, so I put a May calendar up here so we could look at some dates. And with a calendar, most of the time your month is going to be at the top. May is our 5th month of the year. Remember, there are 12 months in a year and there are 7 days in a week. So on this calendar, the 7 days are on the top, and then the dates are actually in columns below. All right, so these are all your Sundays. These numbers are all your Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. All right, so if we're looking to see, let's see, today's date is Saturday, so it has to be one of these days. Saturday, May 2nd. So today is Saturday, May 2nd. So tomorrow means it'll be May 3rd. And then this coming week, this coming Monday, will be May 4th. Monday through Friday, the 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. This will be this coming week coming up next is the 4th through the 8th. Then we have 9th is the Saturday. See, it's right under Saturday. And then the 10th is on Sunday, and it's a special day because it's Mother's Day. So make sure you give your mom a big hug and tell her how much you love her and appreciate her because it's Mother's Day. So that's on Sunday. Then the next week, work week, will be the 11th through the 15th. Then we'll have the 16th and 17th will be Saturday and Sunday. And then the next week will be the 18th through the 22nd. And then the following Monday will be Memorial Day. That's a holiday. I won't have any assignments due for you on that day. And this is actually the last week of school. So we won't actually be doing work on that week. We'll just be kind of tying up some loose ends and finishing up everything. So that's our last week of school. So we only have a few weeks left. And the month of May has 31 days. And that 31st day would be a Sunday. So we start back June 1st. That means June 1st. If the 31st was on a Sunday, June 1st would be on a Monday. All right, so we're almost done. All right, last thing. I did a pretend survey, and I pretended that I surveyed some students, and I said, during your free time, what would you like to do? If you have free time, would you rather ride a bike, read a book, or color a picture? And then I came up with some data and some numbers. So I'm going to pretend that 9 students told me that they liked to ride a bike. 5 students liked reading a book in their free time. And 15 students liked coloring a picture. All right, and then based on how many told me that they liked that, I put down the tally marks to represent that. So for riding a bike, it said 9 kids liked that. So I put a tally mark for each student. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you get to 4 and you're putting tally marks, then you put a diagonal mark for the 5th one. So we know if we see that means 5. We don't have to keep counting them each time. We know that that's a group of 5. So here's a group of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 tally marks representing 9 students. And then here's 5 students that like reading books. We don't have to recount because we know that's a group of 5. And then coloring a picture was 15 students. These are groups of 5, so we count by 5s. 5, 10, 15. So that's 15 students. All right, so we got to take this data and put it on. If we wanted to graph it, this is what it would look like. All right, so here's the options down the side. It starts with the 0, which is the gray mark. Then we go up. There's a 5 gray mark. Then it says 10 is this gray mark. 15, and 20. And each of these lines are worth 1. And so we have to graph what our data told us. So for riding a bike, it was 9. So we have to start at 0 and count up to 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm gonna color my bar up till the 9, because the very next bar is 10, so we have to go to the 9. Start at 0 and take it to 9. Alright, so if I look at that graph, I can tell that there are 9 students chose riding a bike, then reading a book was 5. So I'm going to take my bar. Here's the 5 line, so we have to color it up to that 5th line. Okay, and my third, 15 said they like coloring a picture. So we find my 15th mark, which is right here. And so we have to color it all the way up to the 15th mark. Starting at 0 up to the 15th. So by looking at the graph, I can either look at the tally marks and figure out how many chose each thing, or I can look at my graph and it also shows the same data, 9, 5, and 15. Alright, that's all for this video. I'm going to also upload a video that has your oral directions for your workbook worksheets. I'm going to be uploading that, and I want y'all to keep working hard. We just have a few more weeks of work to go, and then you'll be able to rest for the summer. I love y'all. I miss y'all. I just want you to stick to it, and we'll get through it.